Thanks for joining us here on 9 News Watch. I'm Chris Bianchi, and in a short minute here, we're going to hear from Dr. Alex Marrero, the Superintendent of Denver Public Schools. We're going to have a press conference here a bit about Denver Public Schools' announcement to close schools for next Friday, November the 19th. They say that is due to a couple of reasons. One is to allow for COVID-19 vaccinations for children between 5 and 11, also to allow their staff to have a mental health day and a thank you to their staff. But other school districts are closing on the same day or around the same time period later on this week due to staffing shortages. So we may get some questions about that. Let's go over to Dr. Alex Marrero, the Superintendent of Denver Public Schools.
That is now available to everyone ages 5 and older. We know that the vaccine is the best action we can take in our efforts to end the pandemic and to keep our schools open. We have also made this decision by simply saying thank you. Thank you to all. Thank you to every member of the DPS family and for all their hard work during this challenging year. And at this moment, I'll open up for any questions. Yes. Hi, Jessica. Absolutely. So I'll say it in two stories. One that I heard yesterday evening when I was in the far northeast at the Robert S. Smith STEAM Academy for a BFAC, Black Family Advisory Council meeting, where I heard from teachers, parents, and a 6th grade student who said that he feels that our staff, our support, his teacher, is struggling with everything that has to do with post-pandemic, but also the day-to-day need and heavy lift that our teachers are dealing with. This is a 6th grader, really captivated the attention of the entire crowd, saying that I see Miss So-and-so in a place that I haven't seen her in several years, even before the pandemic. So hearing it from our students, hearing it from our families, but in particular, those situations that when I'm visiting schools, and I hear from the teachers saying, thank you, everything that you're doing, we love to be here, but we feel that it's March, meaning the March fatigue is setting in on our teachers because of the heavy lift. And the heavy lift comes with everything that is post-pandemic, responding to well beyond the scope of their work, meaning if it's literacy plus counseling and social work. But in particular, the coverages, right? There's a tremendous need across all our schools where teachers are going up and beyond, and our leaders as well. So when I hear from our teachers and our paraprofessionals when I'm visiting schools saying, please support us, this is a small token of saying thank you. Three-pronged. So it's staffing issues, a major relief. It is also, so that goes with the thank you. It's most importantly a day to really maximize the vaccination efforts that we've undertaken. I think we have now, today 3, tomorrow will be 5 total operational closures in a school district that has well over 200. I think we've done an incredible job. So this is a way to say thank you. But the fact that we have our vaccination clinics and our collaboration with Denver Health, that Friday, right before a break, just in case there's some adverse reaction to the vaccination, it's the appropriate time. And it's already the day before a long vacation. So if there ever was a day, it was that Friday. And we, as a district, are not in a situation in which we're struggling with the Veterans Day battle that many districts across the nation are, meaning that we're in session tomorrow, so we will be in session that Friday. So after this week, we're looking at 4 days, and those 4 days may not seem like a heavy lift, but they are based on what we've heard. So three-pronged in terms of vaccination efforts, a thank you to our staff, but also supporting the staff shortages. Sure. The specifics I may not be able to, but maybe someone else can. But I'll high level. So it's a mixture of all. So we have our day-to-day absences that happen, right? Whether it's a personal day, self-medication, self-care. That happens on a daily basis in all our districts and all our schools. That compounded with quarantines, COVID cases, and of course fatigue that I mentioned earlier. So all those compounded into what could happen on a daily basis is a little bit more than what we've expected in a traditional school year. So we ask everybody to really take their own measures, right, and use their professional judgment before they enter a school building. And with that flexibility, it adds on to how vulnerable we are at every school building. So in terms of the specifics, do not know if we have those statistics available, but we can provide them.
Can I ask you for a huge favor, Rafael, with the innovation? Can you say that same thing in Spanish, that overall explanation that you gave us right now?
Claro, claro, claro que sí. ¿Cómo estás?
Muy bien.
Ese año es bastante diferente. Típicamente, todas las escuelas y los profesionales o maestros tienen días que pueden tomar libre si están enfermos, si necesitan ese día. Pues ahora tenemos las cuarentenas y los casos a donde posiblemente están positivos o posiblemente se tiene que tomar el examen o la prueba. Todo eso, junto con todo lo que está pasando, que en este año los profesores sienten que ya estamos en marzo y apenas llegamos en medio de noviembre. Todo eso junto nos tiene una situación en cada día es difícil para las escuelas típicamente. La buena noticia es que nada más tenemos 4, mañana 5 en total a donde cerramos la escuela, cuando tenemos mucho más de 200. Entonces, estamos logrando lo increíble, pero llegó el tiempo a donde tenemos que tomar la medida y decir gracias al mismo tiempo. Y al mismo tiempo, para los estudiantes que están elegibles, entonces, los que tienen 5 años o más, para que se puedan vacunar ese viernes.
Can I ask you a follow-up question? I'll say it in English so everyone
Yep.
understands. What would happen to those families who are having any connectivity issues, probably don't have any access to internet or a computer, when we are moving to a remote learning due to these issues? Is there any help? Can they ask for any help, and where they can ask for that help?
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to say it in English or Spanish.
I will. So we are not in a position that we feel that we're going to encounter that as an issue. I think that what we've accomplished post-pandemic is that we are truly a one-to-one district, including connectivity. Our staff is prepared on any given day to shift to remote. I just want to highlight that this is not something that we are planning to do regularly. We'll have to if we need to, but I can't stress enough that by the end of this week, we'll have 5 solely, when other districts are in entirety shutting down. So it's not something we're planning for, but we're well equipped to. And in terms of any specific nuanced situation in which there is connectivity issues, the school is the best source of contact so they can support. Quiero decir que no creo que eso va a pasar regularmente. Nada más tenemos 3 al día, 5 al fin de semana, total en más de 240 escuelas que tenemos. No pienso que vamos a cerrar la escuela e ir a un aprendizaje virtual, pero estamos preparados. Y si hay una situación a donde un estudiante no tiene una computadora o no se puede conectar, que contacte a la escuela, porque tenemos todos los recursos ahí. Yes. Yeah. So parents should be prepared and flexible, just like we are, but it's not an expectation for it to be a commonality. I'm sorry.
With these closures, are you concerned that it has an impact on the child's education? I know you said there are possibly 5, or there are 5 of them. What does that mean to the students when they don't get those extra 5 days?
Well, they would. In those 5 situations, they're going remote, so they're going to get their synchronous instruction.
Does it still impact their learning, though, because it's different than in person, or they're kind of used to the online?
That's the major argument. I would say yes, especially for our youngsters. No, I have a kindergartner. Now, can we teach reading remotely? Yes, we've proven that we can. But is it more effective than sitting down on a colorful rug in a circle? Absolutely not. So a slight little deviation to, I guess, the best learning process, but not something that's going to devastate the process.
You mentioned that this isn't necessarily an expectation moving forward, but that parents should be flexible. What's your message to parents who, for instance, don't have the capability to be flexible, where perhaps their
Great question. Something that we have taken into consideration, and that's why the decisions have been so few and far in between and remote, no pun intended. However, we do have the means of support. So I would say definitely connect with the school, connect with the district, because what we can offer, as I mentioned, is a device and connectivity, but also other supports. Like this Friday in question, the 19th, not this Friday, the following Friday, we have a tremendous amount of support, whether it's Discovery Link, our Boys and Girl Partners, and our ELKS program, in which students can be part of in-person activity, right? So perhaps that's something that we can explore if and when we have future operational closures. But again, I want to make sure everybody understands that those will be the last case resort, and we do not anticipate it being a commonality in DPS.
Kind of question on earlier, but how does Denver stack up to other districts when it comes to having the substitutes or folks retiring or leaving the jobs? How does Denver compare to other districts?
Yeah, so I don't think our situation is a matter of retirement or resignations. I think the day-to-day struggles are what I mentioned earlier in terms of whether it's fatigue, a self-care day, or an actual absence or anything related to COVID, quarantines, or positivity. So do not know what the other districts are struggling with. I know that it's across the nation in terms of manpower in the classroom and also in terms of our ancillary services, transportation, food services. But it's not due to resignations or folks saying, I'm leaving the profession or leaving DPS. I think it's just a day-to-day struggle. However, what I can say is, based on what I've read, and I feel for all my colleagues across the metro Denver area, I think DPS is by far doing an incredible job on a day-to-day function and making sure that our schools stay open based on what I've read.
I know last month the district was dealing with substitute staffing shortages. Is the district doing anything to incentivize people to come back and try and be substitute teachers?
Absolutely, right? And I'm going to ask everybody for their support. Whether it's a new channel of communication, a new group that we haven't, we're absolutely asking for everyone to please consider joining us in the incredible work transforming lives. So what are we doing is actively recruiting, and it has been sluggish, but it's been sluggish across the nation, right? So we're all competing for the same individuals, whether it's substitutes or bus drivers. But we are, not to say that we're in a great place, but in comparison to others, I think that we're in a fair place. And this is a small way of saying thank you for those who have gone through not only this year, but also the pandemic as well.
Just a quick follow-up to a question. I don't think I understood the answer too clearly. When you mentioned for those families who maybe have to look for sitters or anything else because they have to go to work, you mentioned some resources.
That's right.
What exactly is that? How can they get more involved now?
So if we're talking specifically about the Friday the 19th, we have several partners and also our organizations who are open, right? Who will take in our students and engage in the fun activities that they would typically in an after-school program. So our ELKS program, which is our extended learning program, our partners at Boys and Girls, and I'm neglecting the third one that I mentioned. So we have at least 3 partners and organizations who can support with making sure that students have access to in-person. So it's a great way of also saying thank you, but also being mindful of the struggles of a lot of our families.
What about those days like today or Friday?
So those are operational closures. That's not a district-wide, so that's specifically to the school, and those students will be asked to engage in online learning. And the best course of action is to contact those specific schools.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Morales.
Thank you.